Hey guys, welcome to this week's forecast, tarot and astrology forecast, and that's for the week of Sunday, September 19th to Saturday, September 25th. My name is Valentine Lister, and I'm going to go over all of the transits that you need to know for this week. And I'm also going to be pulling some tarot cards to give us some advice on getting through that week. And if you saw my forecast and you've experienced last week, it was not easy. I forecasted that it wasn't going to be easy, and I had some hard knocks last week. So let me know how your week went, but we're moving on to the next week. It's a new start. And so the first forecast that we have is for Monday, September 20th. We have a full moon in Pisces. And this one is really cool because so the full moon in Pisces is going to be happening in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. So that's around New York City area. Where I live. So that full moon is happening at 7:55 p.m. But what's cool is about an hour before that, we're going to have Mercury trine Jupiter at about 6:57 p.m. So about an hour before. And I apologize if my voice isn't like up to par. I had a cold. I'm getting over this week, but I don't care. I want to get this forecast out to you. So hopefully it's okay. So what my thoughts were is that it's almost like this Mercury and Jupiter are welcoming this full moon in Pisces. And the cool thing about it, it's interesting because with the full moon, so the full moon means that the sun is in one sign and the moon is in the opposing sign. So they're 6 signs apart. So they are the complete opposites. And we're looking at these extremes of duality during the full moon, these extremes of being. So the sun is in Virgo. It's in Mercury's sign. Mercury is the ruler. And the moon is in Jupiter's sign. It's the sign of Pisces, the traditional ruler. It's the one I hold to. I'll get into it in a video in the future, why I think that's true. Actually, I'll tell you right now, I have a lot of Pisces friends. I'm a Sagittarius myself, so I'm ruled by Jupiter. And let me tell you, with my Pisces friends, I've seen that Jupiter luck. I've seen some of my Pisces friends where I go, this is not going to work out for you. And even, I don't know if you're going to live past the age of 25. And then not only do they get through it, but they have like a happy fairy tale ending because they're Jupiter. They're Jupiter. I'm going to hold to it. But anyway, okay, so Pisces is in Jupiter's sign, the sun is in Virgo's sign, and we're looking at these extremes of being. So for example, like Virgo sun is like planning and strategizing resources to prepare for the future, like strategizing like a physical security or creating resources, putting resources together for a purpose, right? And really to prepare for the future. There's a sense in Virgo that something is coming and I need to get ready for it. And so that tends to be Virgo. That's why there's this like Virgo practical planning, like earthiness. And Pisces moon is a little bit different, right? Pisces is all about sensing through our emotions and our intuitions. But there are emotions and life experiences with other people that there's like a natural rhythm to life and an order to life, and that we're secure and taken care of if we just tune into the deeper hidden mysteries. If we understand, why do people act the way that they act? Why do people do what they do? All the people I know with Pisces placements love to delve into that and put themselves into even uncomfortable or kind of dark situations because they know that there's some hidden truth there and they want to really understand it. I think that's also where the compassion comes from my Pisces friends is I should say Pisces in general is because they're thinking that even these darker places in life and that there's like a rhythm to life leads to truth. And so they really have a lot of compassion for people too. And they're also very Jupiter in that life is taking care of itself. We just need to flow with it and like go along, like figure out what this flow is and then just go with the flow to have security. So it's a different type of trying to get the security and more so emotional security versus Virgo is more practical in wanting physical security. So we have the practical planner versus the mystic. So we have that trine of Mercury and Jupiter in the air signs. And so Libra and Aquarius are trining. So we have Mercury in Libra, Saturn in Aquarius, and what they're showing is that these two extremes of life can harmonize through the mind's communication and problem solving. That with Libra and Aquarius, when we get into air signs, especially Aquarius, there's a lot of like synchronous things that happen. I think that's why Aquarius is so out there sometimes, because with Aquarius, it's almost like they can read people's minds. And I think with Libra too, and any air sign, it's almost like they can read people's minds, and that's why they can also tune into what people need. And air signs are like they connect people together. So Mercury in Libra is more weighing like the pros and cons of what people need, like trying to find a happy medium, like understanding what everyone needs, and then finding that peaceful, happy medium between that. Versus like Jupiter in Aquarius, like feels the connection between people, and Jupiter in Aquarius has this way of knowing what people need at just the right time and tuning into the thoughts of a group. So Aquarius is more well, actually, Libra does that too, but Aquarius is focused on what does the whole group need? How can we find harmony between a whole group? Versus Libra, where it's like, how can we find harmony between two opinions? Like, like it's kind of like a debate. Thinking about the scales. There's two scales versus Aquarius is thinking about a whole community. That's the archetype anyway, right? So there's something about connecting and validating what people are feeling that's like bringing harmony to the full moon, like the connection between practicality and mysticism. The answer for Sunday is something in really tuning into what people are thinking, following those synchronous thoughts, voicing what you need to voice. There's something about with Libra and Aquarius, when they voice what they really think, everybody's like, whoa, I'm thinking that too. Well, of course you are, because they have this way of tuning into people. So it's this really beautiful link, this beautiful like invitation to come into harmony with this Mercury trine Jupiter. And also Mercury is more of the strategizer, the planner, is always 2 steps ahead. And Jupiter is, like I mentioned before, is like the sign of like there's a divine order in the universe and everything's intricately tied together. And we just have to have faith, and we just have to like pay attention to those rhythms of life. And so faith, so Jupiter does oftentimes get associated with faith, but it's really tuning into the bigger picture of like how the universe really works from a spiritual perspective. And Mercury is more like practical and grounded, where it's like looking at what's actually happening around me on this planet Earth, and how can I manipulate it and work with it and play with it to get a result. And so these two things, right, like that again, the mystic and the practical planner are coming together in that trine in an air sign, tuning into what people's thoughts are. And then we have the actual full moon in Pisces, which is also looking at these two extremes of the practical planner and mystic. So I feel like that Monday, there's going to be a lot of like harmony, like to that transit. A lot of times full moons can be difficult. All of the moon transits where it's waxing, where the moon's gaining light up until the full moon can be difficult. I'm going to pull a card here to get more clarity. I have a feeling it's going to be good, but I'm going to pull a card to just get some clarity on this transit. Just to get more clarity on what it's going to be. So a lot of times full moons can be difficult because we have to face like two extremes of being, and it can be hard to harmonize it. But with that Mercury trine Jupiter harmonizing it for us, I think it's really going to be a very beautiful experience on Monday. Oh, and remember, one thing I wanted to mention with the transits too is that oftentimes you can feel them like a day or two before, depending how fast the transit is. So a full moon, you probably feel it like a day or two before, a day or two after. And that Mercury trine Jupiter, Mercury moves pretty quick. So again, you probably feel that like a couple days before, a couple of days after. But also the full moon is like a resolution to an issue. And that's something where in astrology you could look at the houses of where the moon and the sun are landing to get more of an idea of how it will affect you personally. So that could be done in an astrology reading. Okay, yes. All right. Yes. Okay. So that full moon, we're going to be feeling good. We're going to be feeling like celebrating. And so this is kind of cool. This is like This card, the Four of Wands, is also Venus and Aries. So this card also speaks to bringing two extremes, like the Mars and Venus together in this particular card. So Monday is going to be a really good day. It's a day to celebrate the energy, celebrate being alive, really embracing the moments that come to us, the feel-good moments. They're going to pass, but if you feel like celebrating, go ahead and do it. All right, so our next transit is Wednesday, September 22nd, and we have another big day coming up, big event. It's the equinox. So we had that beautiful full moon. Now we have the equinox. That's when the sun goes into Libra, and what the equinox means is that the amount of light in the day and darkness in the night is at equal level. So the day is divided evenly. So that's why it's associated with the sun in Libra and with justice. And so there's this famous guy, I forget who it is, astrology guy, but he said it's the time that judges were born. So you can think of the judge when you think of Libra and the sun moving into Libra. We're gonna have a few amazing days the start of the week, but there may be some difficulties on around that Wednesday, September 22nd. About 6 hours before that sun moves into Libra, we have a square of Mercury to Pluto. So there's tension between Mercury and Libra, like weighing things out, strategizing in a way that's like fair, and versus like with Pluto, there's like difficult circumstances surrounding restriction and maybe some ulterior motives. So like a tension between, I know this is what's right, versus like this pull of like ulterior motives and really underhanded, like shady ways of being. And so with these transits, we may see that around us. We may see that in some public way, like in the news, or we may see it in our own lives, or we may see a struggle within us. It's a collective energy, so we can kind of see it anywhere. So sometimes you may like see it in the news, or may see it with like people around you, versus like within like your own home or own family. Sometimes, most of the time, it affects all of those things. You see it everywhere. Not always. Depends on your chart. So the sun in Libra is going to move right away in conjunction to Mars. So that's the other thing I was thinking, like, I don't know about this. So there's some strife or conflict in trying to smooth things over as beautiful and fair. So Mars is in detriment and the sun is in its fall in Libra, meaning that there may be difficulty in being able to assert ourselves when we see injustice. With Mars. With Mars, there's a difficulty with Mars and Libra with asserting ourselves because we want to weigh out all the options and be fair. And that's not really, like, Mars is like, I'm going to get what's mine and I'm going to go for it, and it's like super aggressive. But then Mars is coming in a conjunction with the sun right away as we start the equinox. And so like there's really going to be like this tension of wanting to break away from someone in authority who is not serving our best interest. Like there's some kind of injustice or fairness. And it's also even weighing out, like, should we trust this leader and trust what's happening? And it could be a father, could be a spouse, could be someone in authority, a boss or something like that. And so we're feeling like they're not serving our best interest, and we're going to be weighing, like, should we break away from this energy or this person or situation because it's not the right way of doing things. There's a lot of like seedy, shady, underhanded things versus do we stay in this situation? What's the right decision? And like weighing out the options. All right, so I'm going to pull a card. I know I was super chatty with the first one, but there was like a lot. I thought there's a lot going on in this week with the transits, which is kind of exciting. So we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, so I'm going to pull a card to see what this transit is all about. Interesting. We have the Page of Pentacles. So in this energy, we're going to be dealing with an actual person. So it's not just an energy, but there's a person that we're dealing with. And and debating like issues of fairness when it comes to financial matters or health matters or physical matters, physical reality. And just weighing out whether like the person that we're dealing with is doing something in the right way. I feel like this could be us, right? That like this could be us wanting to do the right thing and handle resources in the right way. Could be the other person, but the person we're dealing with is focused on practical matters or the situation, practical matters, money. So there may be a tension with money, maybe a tension with trying to break away from someone who has money and kind of holds that power over us with money or resources or place to live or whatever. And having that tension of wanting to break away because we're not feeling that situation is fair. Okay, I'm gonna go through these next transits a little bit quicker. So Thursday, September 23rd, that like breakaway theme continues because we're going to have Venus going into an opposition with Uranus. And so I keep getting a message that there's like this ray of light with this transit, some sense of freedom. So Venus in Scorpio wants power in a harmonious way. So this transit may have us feeling empowered and able to break free in some way, hopefully, and being able to assert ourselves in a way that's beautiful and find moments of freedom. So this may be a moment where we feel empowered and we're able to break away from that person that we think has like power over us, because Uranus, usually when that transit comes through, we find like a time of feeling super liberated and being able to break away for better or for worse. Okay, and so the energy of this transit, we have the King of Pentacles again. Yeah, okay, so we're breaking away from somebody that has the upper hand as far as, sorry, I know there's glare on here. So we're breaking away from someone that has the upper hand as far as money and resources, holding it over us. So definitely could be a boss, could be a spouse, could be a parent. Usually it's like a male father figure, could be a woman, but someone that has this like, authority, and it could be a leader as well. So we could be dealing with leaders who are holding like money or resources or finances, places to stay, some type of physical resources over our head. And so that's coming out in reverse. So it means like we're blocking or avoiding this person. So I think that just confirms like finding liberation from a person that has power over us and gaining back our power and feeling harmonious with it. All right, so on Saturday, September 25th, the last transit is Mars trine Saturn. So I see this as asserting ourselves in a way that works for everyone. That we can figure out the rules in our society where there's a win-win and we can start to feel secure. So in these transits, there was a lot of like breaking away from someone that has the upper hand or has power over us in some way. And so I feel like that transit definitely is going to be a moment of harmony where maybe we're able to negotiate our way out of negotiate in that situation. Like we broke out earlier in the week with like Venus, opposition Uranus. And now now we're feeling like with that Mars trine Saturn that, perhaps we are going to be able to figure out a creative solution in some way, or a solution that works for all of us, and has more of that like feel good, like full moon energy and that Mercury trine Jupiter. So just I think of like what comes up during Mercury trine Jupiter, because that may be a sense of like how we can work out and harmonize this situation we have with the person that's like wielding power over us. But I think by that Saturday, we're going to find harmony. I'm just going to pull a card for clarity, and then I'm going to do this week's reading. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is all about a life of good fortune. So this is a very auspicious card for that transit on Saturday, that things are going to start going the way we want them to go, that there's a lot of hope, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that all of the hard work that we've put into being able to have freedom or being able to improve our situation will start to reap the rewards and see the rewards of our efforts coming to us. So I'm just going to pull a few cards to just give some advice for this week and the transits and the energies. So I'm going to pull a card just to summarize the energies of this week, like what the cards have to say about this week's energy. Okay. Oh, nice. I like that. I like that. Okay, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So this is a really beautiful energy for the week. This is Mercury in Virgo. And this is like your happy ending out of planning and really preparing your resources. So this is not like this is not a card where there's a happy ending without planning for it or preparing for it, working it out in some way. So this week is going to help us to plan like for that happy ending, for that life that we want, that we really envision, and really just the happiness itself. And the peace itself that we want in our lives, that this week is going to help us to get to that place. And overall, like this is how we're going to feel that the things that we do this week is going to help us to get to the place where we're smiling and we're happy and we feel like the fruits of our labor. We feel the fruits of our efforts, that we're actually having results like from our efforts this week, which is really awesome. It's really nice to see after last week having that really like rough energy and that like first quarter moon. And I think that's just with the cycle of having that full moon, that beautiful full moon, that overall we're going to be able to find harmony between extremes. Okay. And so this next week is the advice for the week, and we have the High Priestess reversed, right? So like the High Priestess itself is talking about like the extremes of being and the mystery of life. And it's kind of interesting that it's coming after we have the 10 of Pentacles, which is a more real practical card. But basically, like there's changes that are happening that are really beyond our control, I think. And what I'm getting from this card is like, I don't know, this is weird. Like, don't trust in the mystery. Don't just trust that everything is going to work out, and I guess completely ignore the situation. Like with this card, it's like make practical plans. Like make practical plans, because this is like blocking and avoiding that mystery and not knowing. And so some situations, like the answer is going to be hidden from you, but this I feel like is like there's energies we can't see, and there may be like, I don't know, this sounds negative, but like, you know, like we had that energy of like where people are holding power over us. And so this is like, because usually upright, this would be like trust in the mysteries of life. But here, I think we have to like take the blinders off and really like open our eyes, deal with the situation, voice our opinions, because we do have a lot of, like we have two transits here with air sign energy, right? So we had that Mercury trine Jupiter in air signs, Libra and Aquarius, and then we're going to have Mars trine Saturn in Libra and Aquarius. And so that's all about voicing your opinions, saying what you think, seeing things clearly without getting lost in your emotions. And so I think this is all about like, don't keep those blinders on, look at the situation, know that you can handle it, voice your opinions, and also make sure to step back, like, and like check in with your emotions, because maybe your motives might not be the best in that situation. Like what you want might be to overpower the other person and gain power. And that's not really going to get you anywhere, to be honest. Like that's my experience. All it's going to do is continue the conflict. So what do you want, like from a higher perspective? What do you really want? Like, do you want peace? You know, like, do you want happiness? Do you want love? And even with those things, are we looking towards a higher way of being? Like, is there a higher purpose to this? Is it just for us? Or is it something that we should see in the world? Like, we have to set our heights higher than we just want power over the other person. So that's the advice for the week. And then I'm just going to pull a card for the outcome before I close out for today. So let's see. Okay. All right. I like this. The final outcome. So the final outcome is really awesome. Um, the final outcome, we have the Nine of Cups reversed. And so this means like there's going to be a lot of good fortune coming this week. A lot of good things happening, a lot of surprises that we don't understand. But a lot of like really surprises that we're grateful for. A lot of really fortunate things are going to be happening this week. A lot of things where we see kindness with other people, where we get to have fun, and I don't know, like we just like happy surprises is what happens with the Nine of Cups reversed. And we're going to see a lot of things that help us to have faith in people, despite like that midweek energy where we have kind of this like underhanded like energy, which is not like people not being clear to us. I think if we ride that energy of like opening our eyes, really dealing with reality and knowing that we can handle it, and really voicing our opinions, and saying what we think, I think the outcome is going to be that we are going to have like this really like fortunate surprises. So it's interesting because we have, you know, this energy of like people are being underhanded, but I just want to then ask the question of, is it just you think they're being underhanded? Like, is it a distortion in your perception, or is it something that's clear cut? And that's a question that you can ask. Am I seeing things clearly? So yes, okay. So the advice for the week is, am I seeing things clearly? You want to see things clearly, take the blinders off. And maybe don't think the worst of people. Maybe what someone is doing is wrong, but maybe it's because they're lost. They can't see things clearly. They're confused, and they think this is the best way to be. And so I think, like, at the end of the day, I think this week is going to help you to have more faith in people, and maybe more faith in yourself that you can handle things and handle the situation. So I think overall, even though we're going to deal with some difficult energies and we may have difficult moments where we're really going to have to look at ourselves, look at other people, voice our opinions, at the end of the day, we're going to have some happy surprises coming from it where we can trust in the universe again. All right, guys, that's all I have for this week. I'm losing my voice. Hope you guys have a great week. And I just want to tell you guys about a free resource I have, a tarot and astrology cheat sheet, which you can get for joining my mailing list. I'll put that in the description below under the timestamps. Just want to make sure you know about it. And a quick reminder to like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you enjoyed this video. And I'll probably put some other videos maybe that I think you'll like. All right, love you guys. Take care. Bye. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for whenever I release a new video every single week.